Hello everybody. Candle lighting time this evening is 6:25. This Shabbos is a very special Shabbos. It is called Shabbos Shuvah, the Shabbos before Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur, as we know, is the holiest day of the year. And people, Jewish people the world over, know that Yom Kippur begins with Kol Nidrei. I want to tell you something about Kol Nidrei. There is a cantor, a chazan, in the land of Israel, in Kfar Chabad, in the Chabad Lubavitch village in Israel, that before he begins Kol Nidrei, he always spends like a minute or two closing his eyes and just thinking. And after the Kol Nidrei service one year, one of the congregants approached him and said, "What's the reason that you spend a moment or so with your eyes closed just thinking?" He said, "I'll tell you. When I was a young man, there was a cantor here. His name was Reb Zalman. He had an amazing voice. He was very, very old. And we marveled at the fact that he was so old and frail and stooped over. But when he came in front of the podium and he began his Kol Nidrei, he always said Kol Nidrei with a booming voice. He had an amazing voice. And he said it with energy. He said it with vibrant feeling, and it was unbelievable. And one time I asked him, I said, "Reb Zalman, tell me, how do you manage at your age to be able to do Kol Nidrei with such power, with such energy, and such a booming, powerful voice?" He said, "Sit down, I'll tell you a story. When I was a young man," he said, "I was drafted in the Russian army. And in the Russian army, every now and then, I would like to sing. God blessed me with a beautiful voice, and I would every now and then, when I was in the barracks or just a quiet moment, I would sing. And one day, some Russian officers heard me sing. And the main Russian officer approached me, and he told me, he says, "You have an amazing voice." He says, "You know, I am in charge of a special choir of Russian soldiers, and we entertain the soldiers, we entertain other groups that come, and I'd like you have the best voice I've ever heard. I'd like you to be part of it and be our star singer. And I'll free you from a lot of work that you have to do, because we have to rehearse every day, and it's coming up in about 2 weeks." I was elated. I was excited. Sure, I'll be freed from a lot of the work I have to do, and I enjoy singing. So I went to rehearsal. We practiced, and then I looked at a calendar about 3 days before the concert, and I noticed it was Yom Kippur. It was the night of Yom Kippur, the night of Kol Nidrei. And I said, I'm not going to go and stand there and sing with a bunch of Russian soldiers some Russian songs, and it's Yom Kippur, it's Kol Nidrei. So the afternoon before the concert, I went over to the general and I pretended that I lost my voice. I said, I can't speak, I can't sing. And he said, what happened? I said, "I don't know. I woke up and it's just, I lost my voice. And I was speaking like a very hoarse whisper." He was so upset. He was so angry, because he was looking forward to having me get up there on the stage with the other soldiers and really make a tremendous impact on the concert. He was so upset. He sent me to a small barracks, which they use as like a solitary confinement. He said, "Go in there," and they locked me in there, and that was it. So here it is, the night of Kol Nidrei. I'm sitting in that little barracks, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm thanking God that I got out of it. I'm thanking God I'm alive. But I was really feeling down, all alone. Every year I would go to a synagogue and I would sing, and I would be part of the minyan or part of the cantorial group. But it's Kol Nidrei, it's Yom Kippur. So I started to sing the service. I knew the whole service by heart. I started to sing the service of Yom Kippur, the Kol Nidrei. I didn't sing it with a very loud, booming voice, but I sang it. And as I started to sing it, the door opens wide, and in comes 3 Russian officers. I figured that's it. They found me out. Now I'm done. They realized that my voice is fine. I don't know what they're going to do to me. It's all over for me. And one of the Russian generals, his officers, walks over and says, "Do you know what day it is today?" And I didn't know if he's trying to, aggravate me because I'm Jewish. And he said, "Do you know what day it is today?" I said, "It's Yom Kippur." They said, "Right." And he said, "The 3 of us are Jewish, and we'd like you to do a little service for us. We remember the Kol Nidrei from many years ago." I couldn't believe it. So he closed the door, he locked the door, and I did a Kol Nidrei like I never did before. I gave it my best. I sang it out, and I thank God that I'm alive. I thank God that I have other Jewish people that I can do a service with, and I thank God that I have 3 souls that I can inspire, and that I can make them feel the holiness of Yom Kippur. And I gave it my very best. And when I turned around, the 3 of them were standing with tears streaming down their faces. And I knew that I had ignited the spark that was buried deep inside them. Deep inside every single Jew, there's a godly spark. So the cantor, when he finished the story, he told, he said, that's why, he says, every year, said the old man, when I think of that story of standing there and doing Kol Nidrei for those 3 soldiers, those 3 lost souls, so to speak, it gives me so much inspiration and so much feeling that I'm able to sing out like I can never do any other time of the year. So the young cantor telling the story, why he thinks for a minute or 2 before he starts his Kol Nidrei, he says, I think of that story that the old cantor told me. And I'm so inspired by that story. And it helps me do a Kol Nidrei better than I could normally do without that story. So that's what Yom Kippur is all about. Yom Kippur is about igniting the spark in each and every one of us, to ignite that spark with a tremendous love for the Almighty, a tremendous yearning to cleave to the Almighty through His Torah, through His mitzvahs. And I'm sure that the Almighty, through our prayers of Yom Kippur, will write us all down, inscribe us and seal us in the book of life for a good year, a healthy and happy year, and a year of the coming of Mashiach. And may it be very, very soon. Have a very wonderful and meaningful Shabbos.